Hi, I'm Lieutenant Brandon Smith with the Iowa City Fire Department, and I'm here today at Fire Station number 2, and I'm going to show you how to grill like a firefighter.
Grill like a firefighter.
I'm going to grill a couple of my favorite recipes: barbecued chicken split breasts and sliced red potatoes with mushrooms and some asparagus. We're also going to talk about some grilling tips, some tips that you can use around the house when you're grilling in the summertime, or any time for that matter, to help keep you safe when you're grilling, and also some tips, some safety tips to use around the house when you're at home cooking, so that you don't hurt yourself. So come on with me and let's grill like a firefighter. All right, so I'm making some B red sized potatoes today with portobello mushrooms, and this will all go on the grill here in a little bit. We're also making split breast chicken, barbecue style. So, and I do it a little bit differently, and you'll kind of see how I'm going to do that in a little bit. But got to get everything prepped first, and my B potatoes go on first because they take a little bit longer than the chicken, and I prefer to have my B potatoes, my red potatoes, a little bit browned, if not burned. Just adds to the flavor. So we get the onion in there, and the sugars from the onion start cooking up, and get a nice flavor of onion and garlic and salt, pepper, and some other seasonings. So I use a Vidalia onion because I like it to be a little bit sweeter for this for the potatoes. I think that the sugars from the Vidalia onion seem to burn a little bit better too when it grills up. So this will all go in the bowl and then get mixed up with all the seasoning, a little bit of butter, all the good stuff. A little bit of salt, a little bit of seasoning salt. And I mix everything up real well. And a little more garlic. You can never go wrong with garlic. All right, I nearly forgot the mushrooms. Got to have the mushrooms in there too. So I'll get that all mixed up. And then this is pretty much good enough to feed an army. There's only a crew of 3 of us out here today at Station 2. And normally at Station 2, that's all we have. So an engine company is made up of 3 personnel, and on the truck company is 4. So we've got plenty of here for lunch and dinner. Make a nice little pouch. Steam the potatoes for about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to actually cut it open and let the potatoes kind of brown up a little bit. As far as our lunch is concerned, well, a lot of times, most times we do a lunch on our own unless it's on the weekend. Then we kind of do what they call the communal meal, so everybody pitches in and we all kind of cook something together. So that's what we're doing today.
Grill like a firefighter.
All right, so some tips on grilling safety. First and foremost, obviously, you have 2 types of grills for the most part. You have a charcoal grill and you also have a gas grill. Here we've got a gas grill, and it can either be LP or natural gas. If it's natural gas, it's going to be piped directly to your house. Natural gas, have an LP tank. This one happens to be natural gas. Here at the fire station, it's piped in. Actually, when we get a call, it automatically shuts off so that we don't burn our food, we don't start the station on fire, so on and so forth. So, couple safety tips. First of all, when lighting, you want to make sure you open the lid. And the reason we do that is so that gas doesn't build up in this area, and when it does finally light, if you have a problem with the igniter, that it doesn't whoosh, take off and blow up in your face. So make sure that you have the lid open to light your gas grill. So number two, you know, a lot of us that grill, we like to have that excess char and stuff like that on our grill because that kind of adds flavor or seasoning to our food. But it's not a good idea to allow that to be excessively built up, so a lot of fat and so on and so forth on the back possibly or underneath. You want to make sure that you clear out that dripping pan every single time, that you don't have a drip pan full of animal fat laying down there, because that can start a fire and burn pretty readily. So some other tips when you're grilling: know where your fire extinguisher is. If you have a fire extinguisher, know how to use it first and foremost. If you don't know how to use it, a fire extinguisher is worthless. But if you're grilling, make sure you know you have a fire extinguisher, you know where it's at, and you know how to use it. And it's also not a bad idea just to have a garden hose somewhere near that you could use in case something were to start fire, it spread, or so on and so forth. Notice that our grill here in this space, everything around it is concrete or metal. Even the eaves overhead is metal, so we don't have anything that's combustible around this. If you have your grill setting on your deck and you have a wooden deck, that's something to be concerned about. They do make reflector pans that you can put underneath your grill, but you also have to think about behind your grill. If you set your grill up next to the railing and you have a wooden railing, that can get hot enough, say you're smoking meats or something like that, so you have extended process where that heat is allowed to break down the wood and actually pyrolyze it and then start a fire. So think about that. So some of the other safety tips that we're concerned about when grilling. So I'm going to go ahead and light the grill right now. So I have my lid open and I'm going to turn the gas on and then hit the igniter, and then I heard it, basically the flame start right up. Some grills, it's not readily obvious that the grill is actually lit, so you might need to look underneath and double check just to make sure it's lit. Ours actually has a little peephole down here on the side that I can look in and I can see to make sure that the burner is actually lit. Some grills you can see the burners just fine, and you know that that's going. So I know that my grill's lit. Now I'm going to close the lid and I'm just going to let it get hot, because the potatoes that I put on here in a little bit, I want a nice hot grill, so I sear those potatoes. All right, so let's go ahead and get these potatoes on the grill. Nice and hot. Set those right in the center and let them go. As far as charcoal grills are concerned, kind of the same principle as the gas, except that you're using charcoal. So you're basically using some sort of combustible material, whether it be charcoal briquettes or even some sort of logs or a campfire. You can't turn the flame off like you can with a gas grill. So you really want to be prepared in case something were to happen and that fire gets out of control. But again, your grill, you do not want to put it on a combustible surface, i.e. your deck, wood deck, because it can start on fire. Using it away from a building, if at all possible, just to protect anything from spreading. When you're using charcoal briquettes, I always tell people use the ones with the match light. They've got the charcoal fluid already in them, so you don't have to worry about that big whoosh after putting on the charcoal fluid. But if you don't use those, you use some sort of natural wood briquette or a briquette that's not pre-soaked with charcoal lighter fluid. Put your charcoal lighter fluid on top of your briquettes and then allow that to evaporate a little bit so that those gases are off-gassing and it's going to be in an open area, and you don't have that big flame start up. You never want to, once you have the charcoal going, you never want to add more lighter fluid to that. That's just basically throwing fuel on the fire, and then you're going to get a large flame up. If you need to add more charcoal to it, that's fine. If you're doing some sort of, like I said before, smoking or something like that, you can add more charcoal briquettes to it, but don't add lighter fluid to it. Just allow the heat that you have from the existing charcoal, heat the other charcoal briquettes up.
Grill like a firefighter.
All right, so now it's time to prep my chicken, and want to have the split chicken breasts, my favorite for this one. And what I do is I'll end up just pulling the skin away from the chicken, running my finger underneath each one of them, and there's just a small thin membrane you can see right there that stays on the chicken that allows the barbecue sauce to stay in between the meat and the skin. That way it doesn't dry out. One thing about cooking chicken is you definitely want to make sure that you prep correctly and wash your hands anytime you're changing, doing something different, going from the chicken to touching something. And then even on my tray that I'll take out to the grill, I'll have a piece of aluminum foil on that, so I'm protecting that surface when I don't have to deal with. I can use that pan again, basically, is what I'm saying. So then I'll just fill this whole area up with barbecue sauce underneath the skin. Make a nice mess here. And this is not a homemade recipe or anything like that as far as the barbecue sauce is concerned. I wish I could say it were, but it's not. I've found that I've tried to make barbecue sauce before and I'm just wasting my time. I can buy a barbecue sauce that I prefer, that I like, and just use it. So the other thing that's nice about this too is it keeps the barbecue sauce from burning, because the barbecue sauce has a lot of sugar in it, and a lot of times when you put that on the grill you end up with a black mess if you're trying to cook chicken or whatever you're grilling or barbecuing. So this helps it keep from charring. And once I put this on the grill, I'm going to grill it for just about 45 minutes. It takes a while, and I keep it on the bone side down on the grill for the best part of that 45 minutes. And the only time I turn it over is about maybe the last 10 minutes or so. So it's going to stay bone side down, and I don't care if the bottom burns, the bone burns, because I'm not going to be eating that anyway. So, all right, so chicken looks prepped. We got a little bit of barbecue sauce on the skin. So if anybody wants to eat the skin, they can eat the skin. It gives it a little extra flavor. So I'm not going to eat the skin. I'm not too concerned about it. So we get the chicken over here. Once I get the chicken over here, I'm going to throw a little bit of seasoned salt actually on the skin itself as well. But first of all, I'm going to wash my hands. So. All right, so let's get these chicken breasts on the grill. So now ready to put the chicken on, and I need to get the potatoes moved over. So we'll slide the potatoes over carefully. Prevent fires. Got to have the fire department oven mitt on. Looking good. Something else to consider whenever you're grilling or even cooking, especially on the grill, use a set of tongs to grill with. Obviously in this situation, since I've already touched my raw chicken, I'm not going to use this one to touch them again later through the cooking process. I'll take them inside and wash them. But use a set of longer tongs. This is a pretty good length so I can get over the grill without burning myself. But in this situation, if I have to do anything with these potatoes, I definitely want to have a pot handle or some sort of oven mitt on my hand so I'm not going to burn myself, because that aluminum foil is about 350 degrees right now, and that's going to cause some pretty bad burns. So now we close the lid on that and set it. And really, when I say set it, I mean set yourself a reminder. I know that I need to cook this chicken on the grill for about 45 minutes, and just like anytime you're in the kitchen cooking, same thing with grilling. This is a situation where I can kind of walk away from it. So that's the type of grilling I'm doing. So it takes about 45 minutes. I'm going to walk away, but I'm going to set myself a reminder on my watch that I need to come and check on it in about 25 minutes or so, just make sure everything's doing okay. And same thing if you're in the kitchen. Whenever you're cooking, especially if you're baking something in the oven, or if you're doing something on the stove top that's covered, boiling or whatever, set yourself a reminder either on your phone or with an alarm, some sort of device that's going to let you know that, hey, a lot of people walk away and forget that they're cooking something. They get busy. We get busy with life, and we get on the computer, we're watching a television program, busy with the kids, whatever it may be. So set yourself a reminder to come back and check it a little bit. Another subject that I kind of want to talk about is, we talked about where the grill is located. You never ever want to grill inside. Never want to grill inside your house. Never want to grill inside of a garage. Some people will, in the middle of winter, they like to grill. It's not a good idea to grill inside. If you grill inside your garage, you need to have the door all the way open, because grills do create carbon monoxide. And that's another hazard that we have to think about. So make sure that you're grilling outside. If your only option is in the winter to grill inside, make sure that you have the garage door open. But then it is very hazardous when you do that, just because you're inside of your house. All right, so now I got to prep my asparagus. Spread it out, put some olive oil on it. Get that mixed in. Garlic salt, again. Garlic salt's good. Get some of that on there. Some black pepper. And just kind of roll that around. Distribute it evenly. And this is ready for the grill.
Grill like a firefighter.
All right. Chicken looks coming right along with the chicken. Checking to see here. I want it to kind of split on the bottom side. Chicken's looking good. I want a nice split along here on the side of the chicken, so that's all right. Grate it up there. Just kind of move it around a little bit. Potatoes are coming along. See in there, they're steaming up pretty good. You got a ways to go yet, but we're doing all right. So we're just about ready to put the asparagus on, but we'll allow these potatoes to cook a little bit longer before I throw that asparagus on, because that doesn't take too long. Oh yeah, chicken's looking fantastic. Definitely. It's time to get that asparagus on. Get that spread out a little bit. Give that asparagus some time to grill. Maybe blacken up a little bit, nothing wrong with that. Potatoes are looking good. We're about ready to eat. All right, let's check it. Oh yeah, it looks good. So let's get the chicken off. All right, let's eat.
You're watching City Channel 4, your window to our community.